Parts of a transmission sent from the future or from a parallel world were picked up by a new space communication system. These messages speak about languages, cities, and technologies that do not exist in our reality. They speak about a past that is still in our future. Listening to these broadcasts, some people cry because they feel connected in some way. Get ready. You will listen to these transmissions now.
The Rise of Secret Technologies, a sci-fi short story.
Part 1. A white dot is detected by several satellites in the South Atlantic. Shortly afterwards, footage taken at the scene shows what appears to be an ice sphere rising from the sea. It is estimated that the diameter of the sphere is about 300 meters. Frozen marine life can be observed. The sphere rises into space as several satellites film the event. All sorts of nonsense are released to the masses following the event. They are happy green Martians stealing our water. It's a specimen collection. The sphere appears to be moving away from the Earth's gravitational field. Over time, it appears to pull away from the solar system's gravitational field. On this very same day, a team of scientists headed by Member R, Member Y, and their colleagues could not sleep. These scientists and their colleagues left their lab in the following order: G, L, O, R, Y, Glory. Part 2. These are texts from other times. These are times of other texts. Half of those scientists grew up north of the urban complex of Sudamericanilla in an area where Espanogues was spoken. The other half came from the region where Brasiliano was spoken. Sudamericano had not yet emerged even as a dialect. Technologies such as the temporal deceleration room, big roundabouts, the home bomb, and the counter-entropic mechanism were not yet known. The theory about happy little green lost its meaning right at the beginning. Mainstream media seemed to like the theory about specimen collection. This theory was better than the truth that was beginning to whisper in many people's minds. The imperial power preferred the collection thesis. Sudamerica could not impose itself against the empire. Unifying North and South of Sudamerica did not have popular support. Everything changed when that mixed team of scientists declared that the experiment was successful. Together, we are stronger. The significance of that moment was as great as the facts that supported it. For all sorts of different reasons, that moment was all about Glory, glory. Part 3. The images showed that they could lift an ice sphere into space. They could freeze seawater in a hot region of the planet. Where would the energy for all this come from? The Central Power felt threatened by such technology. It threatened war against the North and South of Sudamerica if Sudamerica didn't give up its secrets. Feeling weakened, the North and South of Sudamerica joined in one response. In the case of intervention, there will be one ice sphere for each enemy device. At that time, there was no defense for a rain of spheres 300 meters wide. It was the Independence Declaration. It was also the Unification Declaration, although it was not perceived as such at that time. The perception of a common enemy favored unity. From the point of view of known science until then, nothing made sense. Ice packs do not spontaneously form in a warm sea. At that time, the planet was warmer as a whole. The more massive a body is, the greater the weight force is. Two basic principles seem to have been violated in the experiment: entropy and gravity. That was a breaking point with the past. It was the birth of counter-entropy. Part 4. The principle of counter-entropy is simple, draining heat from the environment in the form of useful energy. However, this causes a side effect: anti-gravity. A counter-entropic energy complex in the middle of a hot desert will make the region to cool while producing electrical energy. The complex cannot be large enough to destabilize the planetary gravitational balance. Just like nuclear accidents, gravitational accidents can also occur. Once, a counter-entropic power plant went out of control, generating more and more energy and anti-gravity. The region cooled down too much. The power plant as a whole was ripped from the ground and hurled into space. Tons of metals and lives were lost that day. Satellites followed the trajectory of the plant in space for some time. In the same way that TV transmissions, electromagnetic waves, are emitted into space every day, a new proof of intelligence has begun to be emitted: gravitational waves. Part 5. With almost free electricity, the urban complex of Pseudomericanilla undergone major transformations. With energy to spare, in a city that could not rise above, machines built a new city underground. The city seemed to express itself through its nocturnal glow. Transportation systems were all diverted to the underground. People could then walk freely through the surface. Machines for transport purposes were not allowed on the surface. Until then, most of the Pseudamericans did not know about Pseudamerica. Few of them had been to the Andes, Patagonia, Atacama, or the Amazon. The Central Power culturally oppressed the Pseudamericans in such a way that the decultured masses dreamed about visiting the empire's amusement parks in other continents. Little did they know how impressive, beautiful, and impactful it is to be on the frozen top of the Andes, seeing the Pacific on one side and the interior desert on the other side. Part 6. The fact is that a large sphere of ice from terrestrial seawater roamed in space. Would some sort of micro-organic life survive the frozen crossing of space? What would happen if it collided with a world similar to the Europa moon orbiting Jupiter? Would the little green consider it a biological attack? Would it be the devastation of the little green due to lack of immunity? On the other hand, the sphere could be considered a technological and biological treasure. The sphere held biological records from a distant world. Furthermore, inside it, a counter-entropic mechanism maintained the stability of the sphere. Little Green could use their best efforts to reach the sphere and analyze its biological and technological treasure. Part 7. A great Sud-American scientist used to take care of a little dark green plant. He didn't have many friends and wasn't interested in most of the events of his time. He was building the science of another time in a time of another science. He didn't have a dog or a little kitten to love. However, he cared for that plant with disproportional love. The plant received water every day without fail. A delicate and expensive chemical combination was used as fertilizer. It looked like he was working to buy fertilizer for the little green plant. In addition to being green, was the little green plant also happy? Part 8. These are texts from other technologies. These are technologies from other texts. Ships in which their lines desired to navigate the known universe were developed. In ancient Egypt, a great technological breakthrough was achieved. Ships with sails capable of sailing without rowers were built. Brilliant minds are recognized when the time they lived in is understood. The same is valid for the counter-entropic gliders developed by the Sud-Americans. These days, counter-entropic technology is outdated. It was developed at a time when Sudamericano did not even exist as a dialect. In the ancient world, sailing ships could cross the known universe at the time with the wind. In the same way, a glider powered by gravity and anti-gravity could explore the world without the need for an improved form of paddlers, engines. Since the Egyptian sailing ships, aerodynamic technology has been perfected over millennia. The aerodynamics associated with counter-entropic technology allowed the construction of aircraft without engines. They crossed through the air like sailing ships crossed the ancient ocean. The gravitational wind never stops blowing. With no engines, the only noise produced was the sound of air being cut. With no engines, no smoke, no complex moving parts, no expensive maintenance, it was the pilot's dream of that time. That technology rewrote what it meant to glide. The Egyptians traveled with wind. The Sud-Americans glided with wind, gravity, and anti-gravity. Aerial photo taken from a counter-entropic glider near the urban complex of Tiago. An intricate transport system runs beneath these mountains, connecting the large urban complexes of Sudamericanilla, Ares, and Tiago. Her mind. It's amazing how life and death intertwine in a similar way to wealth and poverty. The dead meat of a chicken supplies the life of a human for some time. Wealthy young men and women proudly wear clothes made by poor hands. Thoughts flew through the scientist's head as he enjoyed a sunny afternoon in a park in the cold city of Ares. Ares was and still is a sunny yellow city. It's full of trees, bookstores, beautiful buildings, and people who are romantic, cultured, and fond of their past. When transport was still carried out with animal traction in the region that is now called Sud-Americanilla, Ares already exhibited mass transport with electric motors. Nowadays, while Sud-Americanilla is a city that strives to be modern and is proud of being modern, Ares is a romantic city that worships the past. Blip blip is the sound that comes from a little black box with little blinking lights. It's time to go home, thinks the scientist. The box and other devices are attached to a hermetically sealed glass case. The armored glass case returns to the house along with the scientist. Inside the glass case, a beautiful dark little green plant lives. Aerial photo taken from a counter-entropic glider somewhere between the urban complexes of Ares and Tiago. The photo shows a small stretch of the largest mountain range in the world. Paradoxically, before the counter-entropy technological revolution, the largest mountain range on the entire planet had never been seen by a huge part of the population of Sud-America. Part 10. Animal cells are deposited in a container. They multiply on a geometric scale. When the container is full of them, they are removed and packed. On the packaging, the message "frozen meat" can be read. Thousands of these packages are produced every day in that facility. One container of 25 tons leaves the facility every 15 minutes. Large amounts of rapidly growing meat generate heat. Heat is drained with a counter-entropic mechanism. Large amounts of useful energy are generated. The freezing of the meat is done counter-entropically. Counter-entropic gliders wait to load containers in a queue. Part 11. Have you ever woken up feeling like a banana or a mouse? Humans and rats have the genetic code for tail formation. However, these genes are not activated in humans even though they exist. At least half of human genes can be found in a banana. Who rules this planet? 90% of all biomass is due to prokaryotes. Thoughts fly through the scientist's head as he looks at the little green grass. Many genes are shared by the scientist and the grass. The soil under the grass likely harbors previously undiscovered prokaryotes. An alien invasion in prokaryotic form could go unnoticed. Assuming simplicity in plant genetics is a sure mistake. The invasion could certainly come in little green form. Part 12. It's been 10 hours since noon. It's still daylight on that beach at this time of year. A shadow passes. No exceptional noise is noticed. The penguins react by looking like they want to shout, "Get out of my sun!" A group of dedicated scientists seem to be more concerned about penguin reproduction than their own reproduction. Penguins share the beach with blocks of ice and scientists. The shadow passes, as does the ship that generates it. With counter-entropic technology, the beginning of the journey resembles the taking off of a balloon. The day in this region of the planet can last a long time. However, it has an end. Scientists led by E and his friends return home in the following order: E, N, D, end.